So, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs, meine Damen und Herren, señores y señoras, mesdames et messieurs, here we are on High Orbit. This is the Competo 2v2 Cup, and this is Aristeo and Cubit representing Team Empire, and on the south side here on the High Orbit, we have Wicked and his ally User representing Team Howard. And we saw User playing Terran, we saw User playing Zerg, and now we see User playing Protoss. And Wicked now asking Aristeo what did he play before StarCraft 2. The answer most of the times is relatively obvious, and most of the good StarCraft 2 players actually played StarCraft 1 or Warcraft 3. And even in StarCraft 1, Aristeo was a full-blooded 2v2 player, and I mean he is one of the 2v2 players on Europe. So it is High Orbit. We have Team Empire in the north, we have Team Howard in the south, and High Orbit is the map where you have this small backdoor entrance covered by destructible debris and this big ramp here at the front. There are no bases in your main. You just have, if you want to expand, you have to expand here to the side on the bottom right, or you have to expand here to the top left. But if you can expand to one base and hold it, you can expand to the second base as well. So there we see Wicked moving out, checking if there's already something like a fast expansion coming up, but going for the fast expansion here on High Orbit as a Zerg player, so the hatchery before pool is practically a suicide. And we saw that Aristeo can play on one base, going for this interesting Roach Infestor one base play, and I mean, it is very uncommon in 1v1, but so effective if you got a partner to back you up. And Cubit with his Hellions, with his Mars Marine Marauder and his siege tank from time to time did a brilliant job there. Now going for the second barracks. Meanwhile, Aristeo is going for the double extractor, finished with the one extractor, finished with the second extractor there as well, going for the lair as fast as possible, even skipping the metabolic boost, even skipping the circling speed. There we see Aristeo is just moving around with all his overloads. Wicked is moving around with his marines as well, and Aristeo once again go for the gas steal. He likes really to go for the gas steal. It doesn't matter to him if it's a Protoss or a Terran player, and he did this quite often, but he's cancelling the extractor. But now with the Zealot and the Stalker, this extractor should go down, and indeed it does go down. And this is the good thing about a team game as well. Those extractor steals are not that effective, because if you're extractor stealing a Terran, you do not have to wait until he's got out a certain amount of marines to kill your drone, because if there's a Zealot in the mix, it goes quite fast, because Zealots run this amount of damage. And looks like somebody wants to get rid of the destructible debris already. They cannot agree with the decision of Cubit to go for the supply depot behind the smoke, so he does have no idea about those destructible debris, getting attacked. And now Cubit is just focusing here on this bunker, having even his SCVs in position to repair it right away. They are expecting attack, but looks like Team Howard is going here for the backdoor entrances, just constantly sending in more units. There we see more marines. Does he have a probe at the front to go for some sort of warp-in procedure? Yes, he does a private probe here at the Zalnagar watchtower, and there he's warping in more units. Now each player, Team Empire, is aware of the destructible debris taking down, and now the destructible debris is gone. The User is moving up. No, he's not moving up. And what is up with the Wicked? And this is really crucial. You need to move up at the same time, because only as one player is moving up for just like, let's say, just like 3 seconds. This is a 3-second timing window where your opponent is having a 2 versus 1 situation, and you never, absolutely never ever want to have a 2v1 situation. So they're taking here the Zelnaga Watchtower, and there we see Aristeia doing a brilliant job pulling the Zergling back in time. So now the Marines and the Marauders come back there, and with those 4 Marines, with the 6 Roaches and the 4 Marauders, the 6 Roaches and the remaining, oh, actually quite a lot of Marines, 14 Marines, he will be able to do, they will be able to do just fine. Nobody is going for an expansion. Of course, Wicked and User want to apply some pressure, like in the last game on Tempest. On the other hand, Aristeia, what is he doing? He's still on run base, he's getting his infestors, he's getting his roaches, got 1 infestor out already. What about the pathogen glands not being started? And we see probes and overlords everywhere to see if anyone wants to go for a expansion somewhere. And now we see Wicked going here for the command center in the bottom right. There we see a Nexus coming up in the bottom right as well. User's got 300 minerals, 350 right now, so he might be going for a Nexus. They're just taking care of the destructible debris here at the gold, and good job by User to go for the gold instead of the bottom right high ground. So those 2 guys starting an expansion each, so the only thing they just need to do is just to prevent their opponents from getting an expansion, and they should be in a good position. But there are 3 infestors out, and all those 3 infestors got enough energy for fungal growth. And just imagine fungal growth on those Marines, just imagine the fungal growth on the Zealots, and the Roaches just taking care of the rest. So fungal growth that early in the game, where most of the guys just having some low-tech units, is so effective. And looks like Aristeia and Cubit are moving out. They have quite a nice amount of forces. So Team Howard is now aware of the infestors. Where are they moving out? Just checking here for the expansion. The command center will be finished in 10 seconds. Will they be able to lift it up right away? So big battle coming up. Some nice fungal growth going off, and exactly on the Marines, on the Zealots, preventing and those main damage here from doing the damage, and fungal growth just shutting down every possible way of Team Howard getting back to this game with this wonderful, brilliant executed timing push. It is not looking good for Team Howard, and it is looking really good for Aristeia and Cubit here representing Team Empire in the Competo 2v2 Cup. And might this be the last attack in this tournament for this week? And I think so personally. There was just some last desperation attempt here by Yusei, who's going for the Dark Shrine. There we see the 3 DTs. Might the DTs be able to turn the tide? One Terran is able to just do 1 scan, and he just sent in all of the DTs. Just only want to send in 1 DT by yourself some time, but he was a little bit too overeager. Now we see all the SCVs, now we see all the probes coming in there, and this will just be a slaughter fest. And there we see the GG. And well played, congratulations Cubit and Aristeia, once again showing us why they are considered one of the best 2v2 teams on the European service, showing us how it's done. And Zerg players still playing on 1 guys. You don't have to expand as a Zerg player in 2v2, because on some maps this is just too risky. Just get the nice army composition, and looks like this Marine, Marauder, Roach Infestor army composition was just enough. The fungal growth on the Marines preventing them from doing damage, the fungal growth on the Zealots preventing them from doing damage, just took out 2/3 of the army, just prevented 2/3 from the army of dealing damage, and they just created an artificial 2v1 situation, and they were just so successful, and I really enjoyed watching those guys. And I mean, don't get me wrong, they just won the tournament pretty convincingly, but it's not like they were invincible. They lost the game in the quarterfinals. The second game on Tempest was a pretty close one as well, but with a smart decision making and calm play, they were able to achieve victory. So congratulations to those 2 guys to win the 2 Plantronics headsets. Yes, the Plantronic headset 777. This is a very expensive, this is a very high quality headset, so you might check it out. And of course, thanks to Plantronics sponsoring this tournament. The next Competo 2v2 Cup, by the way, will be held in 2 weeks. This is a tournament running bi-weekly, So in 14 days, which should be the 24th of February, we should see the next Competo 2v2 Cup. So once again, I apologize for the delays and in the early stages of the tournament. And like I said, this was actually the one of the first times I was casting a 2v2 tournament. So I missed some action here and there, still getting used to watching not only two players but watching four players. I should get a co-caster to help me out with this. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the games, especially the semifinals and the finals were pretty entertaining in my opinion. And yeah, that's about it. Once again, if you're interested in